right. All right. I'm going to go ahead and widen out that camera so y'all can really. Y'all can see this fit, man. I went ahead and I went and shaved. I'm going to be facing this way just to get a good sense of the camera and what's really going on so I can read the comments. I watch Andrew Tate and I notice my man's never actually is looking at the camera, and I'm over here looking at the camera. I'm like, I don't really have to. Because for the most part, y'all really watch the video to get the game. So I'm going to go ahead and give the game. So first, I'm going to say this. If you're watching the podcast, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button. Now, why do I say go ahead and hit the like button? Because a lot of y'all will watch these videos and you're not doing me a service and helping me at all. Let me break down what happens. There's a satisfaction score attached to each video. When you hit the like button, it boosts my video within the algorithm, showing it to more like-minded people. Now, we know that the manosphere is quite competitive when it comes to male advice, and the only person that's really that unique right now giving you the how to get a bag out of her series is me. So make sure you go ahead and hit the like button. Second, leave a comment. Make sure you go ahead and comment on the podcast. Please comment on the podcast. It's important. You help it grow. Next thing I need you to do is make sure you share the video. I mean, if you got a Twitter account, share it on Twitter. You got a person who might need this game, send the video to them on text message. It follows everything that you do. Google has a tracking system, and it lets people know that this is a quality video. But let's go ahead and get into the topic for today. I went ahead and did a poll. With me doing the poll, I said rich women versus famous women. Now, note you, it's not too many people who really have the experience on messing with famous women. Maybe rich women, but not famous women. I've dealt with both. And I went ahead and wrote some things down to go ahead and give you some perspective, because there are some pros and cons, and I'm going to tell you what you can get out of both of them. One is better than the other. And I'm going to break it down. I'm going to break down also the game you need to spit to them. Like, what is the game with these women predominantly that you'll be mainly kind of understanding about them? If the music's too loud, let me know, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and turn that down. If it's not, then we go ahead and proceed. But we should get into this topic. Now, why did I have this thought? Well, I want to do things in which either help you manifest a thought in your head. Maybe you have the intentions of being well known around the world. Maybe you have the intentions of dating some chick and you're dreaming about her. Maybe you want to know what that's like. A lot of guys have these thoughts in their head, and I'm here to clear them up. Now, as you can see through my Instagram, I meet famous women all the time. There's tiers of them. I'm going to break down the tiers of famous women. So I'm going to break that down for you right now. All right. So we're going to talk about famous women first. There is the low tier, there is the mid tier, and there is the high tier famous women. So let's go ahead and break that down. So when we talk about the low tier, we're talking about the Instagram model. Oh, yes, that's the low tier. And King, thank you so much for saying W Fit. I appreciate that. I got the all white joint on. Maybe got the white Balenciagas with me with the fit. Only thing that's black is the socks. You feel me? And me. So there's the low tier famous woman. I'm going to break down the low tier famous woman. This is just the talentless Instagram model that you'll come across. A lot of you brothers come across these girls. They're getting more and more common. This is the TikTok girl. This is the girl in which really doesn't do you any justice. I actually want to face the camera now. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of really miss facing the camera. I miss this. You guys like this? I just wanted to see you guys' comments, but tell me which ones you like. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom this in. Cool. So this is the low tier Instagram model. Talentless. She has no talent. Let's break down some things about the archetype of this woman. No one knows her. She thinks that she's famous. Now, here's the thing. I've dated and messed around with girls who were famous on Instagram. Around the time, I wasn't even really that famous. I think around that time I had about 100,000 YouTube subscribers, maybe about like 80,000 Instagram followers, which is a lot. I'm not going to say it's not a lot, but it's not enough to make you world famous. But I was actually recognized anywhere I went within America. So if I was in Chicago to LA, walking on the streets of Hollywood, I was seen if I was eating out. And at one point, I think I was doing a live stream back in the day. And as I was doing a live stream, someone actually pulled up on me while I was doing a live stream. That's how famous I was. I was recognizable. I meant something to people. It was a reason you wanted to remember me. And I date these girls who are the low tier famous Instagram model. She may have 1 million followers on Instagram, but she has no talent. Within dating them, I never once ever seen anyone ever come up to them and approach them. But they believe that they're famous. She lives for attention. So this low tier famous woman, she lives for attention. Mostly, she's broke. And oh yes, they're broke. Wait, let me repeat that again. All because you see the followers on the woman's account does not mean that she's not going through any financial trouble. Oh, she's mostly broke, because you can't really get money off of social media if you mean nothing to anyone, if you're talentless. Let me break something down to you guys. When I got on the internet back when I was a kid, I wanted to be a world famous magician. I wasn't trying to be a YouTuber. I actually just wanted my own TV show like Chris Angel and David Blaine. So I did magic online. I had a goal. I was selling magic kits. I was trying to get hired. It was a purpose for me to be there. Some of these girls, they just flutter their eyes, shake their little flat asses and hope they get seen and known. And that's okay. It's a lot of flat booties out there. We should call them paperback gorillas, because their booty is flat as a piece of paper, a paperback gorilla. But we got them out there though. And they're broke. So all because you're famous and you have followers online does not mean that you have money. Now let's get to the next thing about the low tier Instagram talentless model. Remember, I said it's a low tier, mid tier, and high tier. We'll get to those in a moment. Likes off. Let me put this. Wait. Likes are acquired through the most low degrading means, essentially saying that the way that she's gaining attention and gaining her reward is really through no means. It has no substance when she gains it. So realistically, you're dealing with a person whose reward system is all messed up in their head. It's all messed up in their head. Now, if you want to deal with a person like that, feel free. I really don't want to deal with a person like that. And she also has no true, real values for the most part. Just nothing's real to her. So just not a serious person. She's not going to be serious, most likely. Now, what's the game to getting one of these low tier Instagram women? Well, I'll tell you what the game is. It's two things. It's either just be attractive or she's a clout demon. Essentially saying that she thinks that she can benefit off of you, whether it be financially or clout wise, to gain her more attention and more followers and likes, she will deal with you. How do I know this? I used to live in LA. And LA is like the social media capital of the world. Beforehand, I was living in Chicago. In Chicago, they don't care about social media at all. They generally don't. You can be a famous person living in Illinois and people, they care, but they don't really care like that. for the most part. You can have 1 million followers, but if you mean nothing to those people in that small town area, you mean nothing to anybody. What did you do for humanity? So let's get into the mid tier. The mid tier is like the YouTuber girl, not quite an A-list celebrity. It's not an A-list celebrity, but she's known for something. She dominates in some type of niche. Mostly these niches will be cooking, makeup, stuff that is relatable with women for the most part. They'll be there in that space. She's popular through offering people content to watch. When people observe and view content and they're watching it, they gain popularity. Mostly she'll be annoying. Oh, she will be annoying. I could tell you, these are the most annoying girls. Why do I say that? Well, if we say money doesn't change you, it just amplifies what's there. Imagine dealing with somebody who wants to be seen on video 24/7. Now you got to be around them. And they feel like their voice should just be heard even around you 24/7. And everything they say matters because the world has validated that. Oh, they are annoying. Goddamn, they annoying. So this is the mid-tier famous woman. She's most likely to cheat. I'm gonna read this comment real quick. I just looked you up online. I didn't know you were this well spread on the internet. I know you from this channel, the podcast. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm an extremely world famous magician. If I can get my YouTube channel back that I had beforehand, I actually had a 250,000 subscribers on that YouTube channel, millions of views on there. I was known for doing magic all around the world. I've been around many celebrities. If you go on my Instagram, you can scroll through it. Through the bottom, you can see me with celebrity after celebrity. I'm talking Kevin Hart, Steve Harvey, Selena Gomez, Kid Cudi, Lil Yachty, and that's what I was around predominantly for the majority of my career. I'm the only famous Black magician there is in history, so that's why I'm pretty much known. But let's continue with the mid-tier famous woman. Let me get through these. She's most likely to cheat. It's due to the social circle she's probably ran through. And I don't know what it is, but I feel like that's usually always been spot on. I mean, I'm waiting for someone to prove me wrong. Please. But for the most part, when you're dealing with these people, they tend to be more in the liberal category, in which they don't really care about things like that. But there's some dark truth behind that woman, and you will find out eventually. You will find out. She does not believe in hierarchy. And that is due to the fame. She can never be humble. In the relationship, it's always a 50-50 dynamic. To her, it's always 50-50. And why is that? Because she's always trying to keep up with an image. So essentially, for her to look like she's the one doing what you say makes her not look like a boss in the eye of the public. And because she doesn't want the public to question her and put her in some type of situation, she will fight. So this is the mid-tier famous woman, and I have more about her too. She usually has no time to support you. She's too busy supporting herself. I think people think like the social media space is a space that you get into and you can do and you can relax, but you really can't. There is no relaxing. Social media is changing every day, and if you're not providing the content, then there's really nothing to do. I always find it really odd that, especially in this manosphere space, there are some women. I believe one of them is married. One of them is in the UK doing like interviews and stuff. And I always find it funny because I'm like, that's really strange. Like, how are you doing a whole interview and this and that and keeping up a relationship as a woman? This is just really strange. And there's a difference between the rich woman and the famous woman. The famous woman has to be on camera a lot, dealing and talking a lot of interactions with people and keeping up business relationships and it's a lot going on, man. It's a lot going on. When you're dealing in media, it's a lot going on, and they're the center of all that. Not saying that they shouldn't be, but it's very hard to automate if they want to be the face. So you can't really automate it if you want to be the face, which means it requires more of your time. Take, for instance, I'm here right now. I haven't did an episode in like 2 weeks of how to get a bag out of her. Imagine that, because I'm actually running another company. So if I'm running that company and I come here and I have to show my face, I'm doing this like late at night. You guys get these episodes late at night, so you get them when you're about to fall asleep. Imagine that you have these women on social media showing their faces, and they're consistently always flying here, getting on this podcast, doing that, hosting this, hosting that. Yeah, they have no time. There's no time to support you at all. There's no time to help you. And this is how to get it back at her. So I'm giving you the downsides of this woman. The game with this woman here is really you'll meet her at exclusive events and social circles. And for every woman I met like this, the only time we would have ever really met, for the most part, is either at some expensive restaurant or at some event in which we were gathered. So I remember when YouTube had invited me to YouTube Summit, and I met some chicks over there. It was YouTube Summit is like where the biggest YouTubers go, by the way, if you guys don't know that. It's a really big event. YouTube hosts it. If you're like one of the top tier YouTubers, you're invited there. I was a top tier YouTuber. They only had 250,000. My impact on the internet was immense. That being said, YouTube invited me. And I'm talking about, I'm up against people who have like tens of millions of YouTube subscribers. There's people in that room that you've seen them before, and I'm meeting them. I'm amongst them. I am one of them. And this is how you'll predominantly meet these women. You'll meet them like that. Or you have the social circle for, for that to happen. So when I lived in LA, I would meet them all the time. Very superficial, not intelligent, not fun to deal with. And realistically, you almost get a sense where it's like, I don't want to be here. I come from a small town area. I really don't care about meeting people because they're famous. It doesn't do anything for me. But I'm telling you, that's what you deal with. All right. Let's go ahead. I'm going to read these comments, and then we'll get into the high tier famous woman. All right. So we got Sheldon Davis. He says, I feel like there's rich women, they would seem more masculine and less feminine in a relationship. You know what? I'll get to that in a minute, because I actually got some stories. So if you stick tight, I can actually dispel that. I can really dispel that entire myth right there, because the ones that are masculine are actually the famous ones. And it's a reason why they are. Pay attention to what I'm telling you. It's really because they're in the spotlight is why they're so masculine. They have to hold an image. They have to hold frame. You ever hear that? Hold masculine frame. They have to hold frame in front of the entire world. It's annoying. And I've dealt with these women. Like, remember this, guys. This podcast you guys see, this is a new YouTube channel, but I have millions of followers online. Some of you have seen my face before. If I go out on the street and I walk down the street, there are people who want to take a picture of me. That don't happen with people. Like, TikTokers don't even get that. I've been online since 2007 making videos. King Turkey says, yeah, you can get much out of someone if you can't get much out of someone if they're always busy. See? Very true. Super Saiyan Bread. What happens to your other channel? It had gotten hacked, actually. So my YouTube channel got hacked. Sad. And what ended up happening was YouTube just deleted it. And I tried to request for it to get back. I got to go through this whole process. I'm trying to get to someone at YouTube to go ahead and bring it back. My connections have gotten, I think they went through new employees for the most part. So I should be able to get it back. I'm not worried about it. The channel is like a historical channel. realistically to YouTube. So they'd be smart to bring it back because there's no case study like me ever in time. I think it's a very beautiful case study that they have. Makes their company look amazing. All right, so let's move on to the high tier famous woman. The high tier famous woman has power. I'm talking like A-lister celebrities. Have I dealt with them? I have dealt with them. You guys can see, go through my Instagram, scroll down. You can see I've been around everybody. I've been in these circles for the longest. I just had Ray J on the podcast just a couple days ago. Now, I'm gonna make the statement that when they have power, they use it. I'm gonna give you guys an example. If you take a look at the Kanye West and Kim Kardashian situation, you guys don't understand, but I believe the reason that Kanye West had gotten married is because of some type of, I think it's called custodial thing that happens in which like Kanye will have to go to like some psych ward or something. I don't know. I forgot what it was, but for some reason, like the Kardashians have the power to mess with this man's mental health through an act power. I mean, look, we didn't talk about this on the podcast, and I was very respectful to Ray J not to ask questions about the thing that's going on between him and Kim Kardashian. But you know, Ray J had came out and said, "Hey, like, you know, we had did the tape that, you know, Kim Kardashian's famous for, the essay tape, and his name is getting thrown underneath the mud." And it was something that the mother had wanted. See that? Look at that. The power. And the power even corrupted the mom to corrupt the children. So the mother is actually asking for the daughter to film a sex tape, and she's watching it and observing it. Take the game. They want power, and they will use it. They want to be socially correct is another thing. When it comes to dealing with the A tier, the high tier famous woman, they want to be socially correct. So you can almost bet your bottom dollar for whatever is current and relevant at the time. They are there to promote it. They are basically a promotional tool for you as a man, for maybe things you don't believe in. They are there to promote, and you will not stop them. You will not stop them. They will be there to promote it. They will be there to be right behind it. So dealing with high tier famous women, this is a downside here. They mainly rely on dating status for the most part. So that's usually why celebrities date celebrities. If they don't see you to be a person of status, they're probably not dealing with you. In the rare cases that you just happen to be average Joe Schmo and they're dating you, best believe they're enacting power on you. Because to them, in their head, it's their career and their image at stake when dealing with you. That's even when you are famous. Just take everything I'm saying and write it down. I'm letting you know. I've dealt with enough of them to know. They will not put their career down for you. It's not going to happen. They have no real time for you. If, you know, the mid-tier woman has no time for you, they really don't have any time for you. I'm just letting you guys know. Now, what's the game with these women? The high-tier woman. A lot of guys don't really know how to pull off, like, you know, meeting a A-list celebrity famous woman. My method has always been this. I pull up on them like I'm famous, and you need to know who I am. So it's a simple, "Hi, my name is Jibrizy, the hip hop illusionist. It's nice to meet you. I'm actually one of the world's most famous black magicians in history." Just give them a quick little introduction. Let them know who I am. From there, you can just roll a conversation. And you guys would think that if you pull up on them, they won't have a conversation with you. Like, if you've seen a famous woman, you knew who she was, you can go up to them and shake their hands. When you see security, just don't even look at them, because if you're acting as if you're famous, you will ignore security because you would have security. So I never pay security any attention. Ask my little brother. I've had to show him this with his career. If you guys know who my little brother is, his name is Jawan Ford. He does like diamond testing videos on TikTok and on Facebook, and he does them with celebrities. And I taught him the methodology of going up to celebrities and bypassing even the security guards to get what you want. I've done this for years. So when you guys like see me, like you can go on YouTube and you can see me with Steve Harvey or Kevin Hart. How'd I do it? I don't pay attention to anybody. I just do what I want. So you got to be the rock star. They get it. They understand it. That's what rock stars do. They're not following any rules. So who's going to impose a rule on me? Yo, security guard? That's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. I was actually in the Wynn. I remember pulling up on Tyga, and his security guard was trying to get all up in my face, and I really just moved around him. I paid him no attention, didn't look him in the eye, because really, what they going to do? When you walk like a boss, talk like a boss, no one can really stop you. And that's the game for pulling up on high-tier famous women. Now, what are the uses for these women for the most part? Well, mainly, I mean, you won't be doing much with them because they don't really have time. They really just don't have time. I mean, you can get connections, you can get a social circle, because one thing's for sure, they're working that social circle and they're almost around everybody and anybody. So if you're a person looking to build some connections within the industry to position yourself around a famous woman, I would say mid-tier to high tier, not low tier, you may be able to gain some connections. Most useless damn women in the world, though. I don't really look, to me, I don't think you really need it though, for the most part. That's if you're trying to get in the entertainment industry, but I still never use them, so you're pretty much good for the most part. Now let's talk about rich women. Oh, I know y'all ready. But before I talk about rich women, let's go ahead and let's talk about this new comment. 2 comments that just came in. King Turkey says, "That's funky. What power can do to certain people." I know, right? Power can corrupt, and it will corrupt the heart of a woman. I'm not saying every woman, but it's most likely you will be dealing with a corrupted one. Sheldon Davis, how did you go from doing magic to all these types of games and tactics, or have you always been like this? Sheldon, I've always been like this since day one. I've been like this since day one. The thing is, I just didn't feel like I needed to tell anybody. Like, think about it like this, right? When you think about a magician is cunning. A magician is clever. A magician is a person who can build a relationship with someone very quick. I can decipher who you are and break you down to the T pretty fast. I have to kind of analyze you a little bit. I deal with a lot of people. So I've always been like this since day one. Always been like this. It's in my blood. It's in my blood. And here's the thing too, I'm coming from a background of an performing art in which teaches you a lot about people. It's a psychological art form. So not only am I a magician, I'm also a hypnotist. When it comes to the brain, I know much more about the brain than most people. So I kind of know what makes people tick a little bit. So I've been like this since day one. Been a very bold individual. Never been scared. I've always been very brave. I'm a very brave individual. Can't fake that. You just can't fake that. Also, Sheldon, if you watched the last podcast, you would have heard the story where I talked about how I had 2 girlfriends back when I was in high school, and exactly how I got it popped off, exactly what I had told old girl to kind of get it rolling. So you would have heard the story like, oh yeah, he really is with it. He's been doing this forever. All right, let's get to rich women though. Rich women. Here's the beautiful thing about a woman being rich. A woman can be rich and not want to be famous at all. In fact, Interestingly enough, there are two women that I know for sure. Um, one comes from a very wealthy family, D1 athlete. The other one just graduated college, a very intelligent girl. Uh, I believe the family is quite wealthy. They just got back from a very long trip in a European country for about a month. Uh, and what's beautiful with these two individuals, if I said, "Hey, let's go here," they could buy a ticket and be there with me. I'm not paying for their ticket. They can pay for their own ticket. And I said, "Oh, let's go here." They can pay for their own ticket and follow me along. Beautiful, beautiful. When you don't have to pull out your wallet to pay for anything. One of them is currently like kind of in that higher tier business bracket. I believe the young lady does coding. I think both of them. One of them is getting into coding, and one is currently doing coding. The D1 athlete is doing coding. One is already into it, and it's more so in the analytical side of things, taking a look into things at a very deep perspective. And the young lady is damn near very smart. If I give her a business idea and I'm like, "Hey, I want to do this. What's your thoughts?" She always has something very insightful to give me. Genius level, very smart girl, but has no need to ever want to be in front of this camera, no need to want to be known. And what's interesting is also in her background, her family is always stuck together. Her family is always stuck together. So is the other girl, the D1 athlete, both coming from wealthy backgrounds, not in need of money. So when you think about the famous woman actually can still be a gold digger. I told you that the low tier one is broke. And when people are broke, oh buddy, they'll do anything for money. But you see, once you gain fame, it comes with you having to keep up an image and understand the parallels of what I told you with dealing with famous women. They got to keep up an image. Got to keep that image up. And to them, they believe the image equates to money. In some cases, it does, but I can tell you this much for the most part. I think it does, but honestly, I really don't in this day and age. People forget things so fast on the internet. They really don't care. Like no one cares. Everything happens like this on the internet. I mean, if people really did care about image, then my question is like, how is who's that one dude who was selling courses to women? Forgot. It was a guy who got caught cheating. Derek Jackson. He got caught cheating, but he's still out here giving advice to women, and women are still listening after he got caught cheating. I mean, look, people will listen to people like Blue Haired Destiny online or Sneeko. You guys will follow the wrong people. If image really didn't matter, my question is like, how are all these people still doing successful? So honestly, it doesn't matter, but to the female's mind, it does. It matters how people see her. It matters what she looks like. It matters her image. Yeah, I bet you I never thought about that. So with these two wealthy women dealing with them, it's actually a breeze. It's actually a lot more easier. I mean, they're still women, so they still have like their little moods and ways they feel, but a lot more manageable. And also, let me bring you into a story that was recently told to me. I thought this was really interesting. This is why this inspired me to want to poll out and see if you guys wanted me to talk about this. The young lady was telling me about her friend. She shared a story. She said her friend was dating an athlete, and the athlete, after they had got done doing the do, had taken the protection device filled with, we'll say, I'm trying to make it smooth right now. We'll say it was filled with some holy juice. Some holy juice that can make an immaculate conception. All right. Which wouldn't be immaculate, right? But it was filled with some holy juice. And he flushed it down the toilet. And the girl she said her friend laughed. She was like, I would never want to get pregnant by you. Like, I make more money than you. And I believe the young lady probably made like about $250,000 a year, probably. The athlete was not making anywhere near that. And she was like, I would ruin my future for you. And that's what she said her friend said. Her and her friend both share similar careers, high tier business. So they went to school for. Those are the jobs that they're getting. They're going into that field. So they're making more money than most men off the bat. What's nuts is her friend, and I can tell that this is probably similar to her, is clear to distinct the man that she's dealing with, that I wouldn't ever really want to deal with you. You are trash. I wouldn't want to get pregnant by you. I would never risk it with you, a loser. And she's putting men into boxes similar to that of the male. If we should do that, we should compartmentalize. Old girl was compartmentalizing this basketball player, and she wouldn't want to get pregnant by him. Note you, the female who's dealing with me, it's interesting. I think that she could really see, like, okay, like in terms of men I can deal with, Jibrizy is probably the full package. He's tall, handsome, intelligent. He can keep a conversation up with me. He owns his own business, well educated. And I say well educated, I didn't go to college, but most of my friends are all guys who are like high IQ. I can almost tell what your IQ is from the people you're the closest with. I'm pretty sure my friends are in the genius spectrum. So if you added their IQ, you could probably figure mine out for the most part. Like, added that up and then round it out, you probably figure out what my IQ is from just theirs alone. That's some game for y'all. If y'all really want to know how smart somebody is or how smart you are, ask yourself, what's the IQ of my 5 closest friends? Add that up and then divide it by those 5 people. That's probably your IQ. But it's very apparent to this girl. So to her, it's like, this is a really good catch. And considering all the men that I've seen and dealt with, it's probably the best catch I'm going to catch all day. And what's interesting is many men don't meet that woman's requirements. Note, you're not saying you got to be rich to deal with a rich woman. Not saying you got to be rich to deal with a rich woman, but to her in her head, you must be separate from the pack of men that she commonly interacts with. Money isn't a true determiner, because if that be the case, then a lot of the women would be dating the majority of the men that they be around. It's not always the case. Women are still picky. They have certain things that they like. So, maybe they work and maybe the guys aren't that handsome. Just not interested in them. Not turned on. Maybe the guys might be well educated, but just not someone they want to really bring around their social circle. So understand that. Woman has to see you being amongst her friends and amongst her social circle for her to be around you. I'm just breaking that down. So there's some factors, but dealing with the rich woman who does not care about fame, she almost in a sense thinks a little more realistic. There's not a spotlight on her, putting pressure on her the entire time to make decisions that would probably make you upset. I'm not saying she won't make you upset, but there's a less likelihood. All right, let's go ahead. Let's read these comments right here. I gotta move this little mouse real quick because it's highlighting the comment I want to read. Man, y'all owe me right now, man. I'm giving too much game. Y'all really gonna owe me. Y'all really owe me, man. Y'all owe me. Dropping too many jewels in here. Too many jewels. Who is dropping game like this? You know what's funny? After all these little YouTubers become famous off of YouTube, have you noticed really no celebrities really mess with them? No celebrity chicks really mess with them. They don't have that spectrum because they have no talent. Understand this. Jibrizy had talent. Talent is attractive to a lot of people. Getting on a microphone and talking all day and complaining is not a talent. It's not captivating to the normies. I'm going to say normies. To the normal person, to the average person, it's not that entertaining. That's why this space is actually so small, because it's not that many people who have the attention spans to actually sit here and listen to all of this. Nobody has that time. Who has that time? Come on. Stop it. Ain't nobody got game like this. All right, so Super Saiyan Bread says, bro has all the connections. Yes, indeed. Sheldon Davis says this: with keeping image up and stuff, wouldn't that mean that famous women would be more fake in a relationship unless they're loyal? Then I don't know. I'm telling you that they're the most likely to cheat because they have to keep up that image, but also there's a corruption to the person. If you ever look at celebrity like relationships, there's always like something going on. They're doing something behind someone's back. There's no such thing as I don't want to say there's no such thing. I don't think. It's just me. From my involvements in dealing with them, it's hard for a woman to not live the lifestyle of trying to jump to the next person for an advantage in their career. Does that make sense? Who's the next person that's going to give me that advantage in my career? She's a career woman. She wants to get an advantage and jump up. So it's a lot of fantasizing. It's a lot of romanticizing of ideas and things in that category. I don't feel like they're the best mates. Just me. It's a power dynamic there that she is not willing to let go. And also, 9 times out of 10, they didn't get famous from their genius and their brain. Think about that. The 2 women I told you, they're wealthy either because they inherited it, which they don't really need fame at that point, or they're intelligent, which would mean that that's a smart woman. It's an intelligent woman. So probably within her being intelligent, she can probably decipher the worth in which you are to her. She probably can think about it. She probably have more thoughts than the famous woman. The famous woman is just thinking like, okay, what can I use you for? The girl who's intelligent is saying, okay, like, you know, if I was in a relationship with you, would you be the best person to be with? See how the other thought is more wholesome and the other one is more manipulative? That's what I'm saying. King Turkey says, crazy wording. I know, right? Immaculate conception. Holy water. He had some Jesus juice. King Turkey says, I want a better friend circle, but it's hard to find other like-minded individuals when it comes to school. Well, you know, one thing I employ for you to do, I really do believe in this organization, the Assassin. If you go to the Saint and the Sinner YouTube channel, you can join the Assassin. Just go ahead and support the Patreon. My boy Marquette Devon Burton. Get access to the Discord, I think, after you go through new member orientation, and you can check it out. Shout out to Marquette. And tell Marquette Jibrizy sent me. I would love to be a part of this. This TV just went off. Okay, cool. So it's, King Turkey also says, magician, YouTuber, might as well become a comedian. I'm anything I need to be. That's how good I am. I'm so talented I could be anything I need to be. But yeah, we went ahead and I broke that down for y'all, man. I had to break that down because a lot of dudes is game goofy. A lot of dudes have no experience in things. No one's giving you the perspective of the guy who has talent, who's at the top. You hear guys regurgitate stuff left and right, back and forth, and they really have no practical steps. Here's the benefit for dealing with the rich woman. The rich woman is not a burden. She's not. The rich woman actually has abundance to give to you. So to her, when you ask her for something or if you request something, she can genuinely spend time with you. Take, for instance, if you wanted to go travel, maybe you want her to pay for it. She'll pay for it. Because to her, to go travel, bringing you with matters a lot. It actually matters. She'll pay for that. She'll pay. She will spend her money to make you happy because to her, she's not keeping up with an image. So far in her mind, she's only keeping up with how happy she's making you. That's if you position it everything right. Because remember, this is how to get a bag out of her. Episode Triss. Triss. A lot of the dudes that are on these podcasts and everything, they're not breaking this down to y'all. Just want to break it down. I don't want you to make the mistake. And if you do want to at least indulge in the famous women, at least you know what to expect. So you're not being surprised. Because I've already told you. See, dealing with a woman who's low tier, mid tier, high tier, and you get the chance to deal with them. Well, guess what? Now you know how to treat them. Or at least you know what's coming. One thing I must go ahead and add in there is that I don't think like a lot of guys really put any pressure on women. And I wanted to talk about that, like making her work for you. Never put any pressure. I want to talk about that, but I think I'm going to leave that for another podcast, making her work for you and exactly what it does psychologically to the woman. It's deep when you make her work for you, what it does psychologically. You feel me? But yeah. So to all you players out there, you watch the podcast, watch episode 3. I want you to go ahead and hit that like button. Show me some love. On the algorithm, there's a sentimental score. Shows the algorithm that you like the content, you enjoyed it. And you want to see more stuff like this because I'm coming out with episode 4 very soon. Episode 4, because you guys voted for it, is going to be the city girl versus the small town girl. And the benefits to both. I had messed with this little Mongolian chick. Crazy. Mongolia is actually a very small country, by the way. And I actually was like, what do you do? It's like, I just stay inside. Just go to work and I stay inside. She does not go out. She goes to work and she stays inside. She does not go anywhere else. She goes to work and stays inside. A chick from Mongolia goes to work and stays inside. She does not go outside. She just stays inside her room all day. How many dudes would sit there and love to deal with a woman like that? But that's why I want to talk about the city girl versus the small town girl and exactly what it does to you psychologically as you grow up. Because some things you just can't train out of a person. Sheldon Davis says this. Weird question, but what do you think about the red pill politics, Destiny Sneeko and Andrew Tate? Well, okay, I believe that Destiny should not be listened to. I don't understand how he's in this space. It makes absolutely no sense. I'm actually quite confused with how he got here to begin with, and I can't believe guys are actually entertaining this. Lets me know that there's a lack of integrity within men today, because here's the thing. Remember this, you're watching a podcast currently where a guy who is actually Talented, famous, and attractive is telling you how to get women for the most part, because I actually have done it. And every guy has to put in some work, but why would you listen to a guy like Destiny? What real advice does he have for you in terms of the psychology of women? And he is predominantly within. He deals with men. He deals with men. So how does a guy who deals with men and women end up telling you that? Also, just kind of pay attention to the story of how he, I think, met his girl. I'm going to say allegedly. I think he allegedly met her like this. I think she came from Switzerland or Sweden or something like that. She needed a green card. They had gotten married or something like that. Like, come on, man. Like, yo, obviously this is like I'm using you tactic. And then they're in love, but are they really in love? Because if she would give her body out to other guys, is that really a woman you want to deal with? No, it sounds like a woman who needed an opportunity. So with that being the case, oh yeah, she got everything she needed out of him. I couldn't listen to a man like that. I had no respect for him. I think men should be very discriminative on who they get advice from. The same way a woman discriminates with men that she deals with, I find it strange how men can't practice this. It's crazy. It's like, how are you listening to these people? And Sneeko. Sneeko, I never really got why he was in the space to begin with. I don't see his importance. He's a mouthpiece. Obviously, like in my head, I don't see how guys actually sit back and say, like, yeah, that dude gets women. I need to hear him out. When he changes with the wind, it's nothing there. It's nothing of substance. You know, Sneeko is really just he's a shapeshifter. He's a wannabe. Like, if Sneeko could be Jibrizy, he would want to be Jibrizy. But he can't be Jibrizy because there's nothing talented about Sneeko. What is so talented about Destiny and Sneeko that they need to be known? Remember back in the day when you had to actually have a talent at something to kind of prove your worth in the world for me to listen to you? But now you could just get on the mic and talk with no backtrack record of anything. And that's where I say the integrity of men, they listen to men who have accomplished nothing in the world other than running a mouth. So it's like, wow, I don't want to listen to dudes who just run their mouth. Every guy that's a friend of mine has actually accomplished something in the world, and many of them have been famous, and they don't even want to be famous anymore. They just run their business now. Arguably, I could just go run my business. I don't have to be on this camera. I could just run my business, and I don't have to be on this camera at all, talking to anybody at all, and I'll be wealthy and rich. I can literally just go back to just becoming more and more famous. These videos don't make me famous. So I ask you guys to like the video, because if you guys actually want to see the first famous person actually say some real truthful stuff to the public, you have the opportunity to make that blow up, because you will never get a talent like me. Sneeko has no talent. He couldn't defend anything. Destiny has no talent. He's just destroying stuff. When it comes to Andrew Tate's the only one I will actually give some credit to, because Andrew Tate is the only talented individual who has proven himself as a world time kickboxing champion, I believe, or is it kickboxing or MMA? I can't remember, but he actually has something behind his name. He's a somebody. I got respect for that. Destiny would never get in the ring. Destiny is pudgy and fat. Like, come on. What? Sneeko is like some skinny dude who wants to be hard, but it's like, I don't think he's really been through anything hard a day in his life. These are clowns. They're clowns. I don't see. My question is, like, it's so nuts how the clown profession is making a comeback, but it just looks different. It's nuts. But Andrew Tate, I actually got respect for Andrew Tate. I like Andrew Tate. I think he's dope. Like, that's a guy that I could respect. Like, that's a guy, like, you know, if you were a guy of integrity, you could respect him for his accomplishments. Say, what have you done? Because actually, what has Sneeko in Destiny done? Once you can answer that question, like, what have they actually done and accomplished before they gotten onto YouTube, ask that question because I already told you, like, I didn't get on YouTube to be a YouTuber. I was on YouTube when they weren't paying people. I was here for free. I wanted to just produce videos. In fact, if you look at my old videos or some of the videos you can find online of me performing magic, this is me going on the street doing magic. I'm a talented magician who made it. I was a self-made talented magician who became famous all on my own. Nobody helped me. One of a kind, the only one that looked like me. I had a genius idea of bridging the hip hop community and magic together like no one's ever seen before. King says true. King Turkey says, yeah, if Sneeko really felt close to his opinions, he wouldn't. Yeah, exactly. He's not a rock. He's like the female. He's gone with the wind. Sheldon Davis says, yeah, you can tell with certain people like you, the Tates, that you guys are real and actually do things, unlike some people who just want to be copies. Exactly. And the thing is, you can see until you meet the genuine article, like the genuine thing, it's very hard for you to decipher is the guy that you just seen, was he real or not, until you hear me speak and then I challenge him. They keep these people very far away from them. Imagine this. Like, you guys ever ask this question? Like, it's funny, like, no one's locking up Sneeko and Destiny. But, like, the real people always, like, the people who are real, who can give you real advice, who are real people, who actually have something real to say, we'll probably get silenced at some point in time because there's too much validity behind what we're saying that we can actually defend our opinions when you come and attack us. Because we live it. We live through it. This is what I feel. This is just me. I believe that they're FBI informants. I'm going to say it. I believe they're FBI informants. It's the most obvious thing. This is like obviously an operation happening in front of everyone's eyes, and no one can see it. It's a magician. I'm a magician. I'm just letting you know. If I had to destroy an entire community, I would purposely hype up these guys to then derail any situation and anything that I need derailed. That's what I would do. Letting you know, because what real purpose do they serve? They're informants. They're actual informants. I believe they're informants. I believe they're informants. Nah, I just said it. Now, the funny thing is, we all keep listening to the FBI informants. Because clearly, for some reason, it's like they're gaining so much traction, but it's oddly enough, it's like, why? It's like a clown show. Like, it's funny. I asked the question, when men come to listen to these topics, they really want to come to be men? They want to come to be challenged? They want to come to learn, come to grow? Or do they just want to come for a show? Dang, that's bars. Do they want to come to grow, or do they just want to come for a show? Oh, King Turkey says, maybe one day you can make a Discord community if you want. Actually, I was thinking about doing that. I think I'm going to do that next episode. So stick tight. You might see it pop up in your feed. I'm going to make a Discord community. And I think I really want an army of people. I want an army of people. An army of people that I want to give orders to. And I want to definitely do some damage on the internet. We have to have our own, like, circle where there's communication about what we need to do, things that we can make popular, make famous. I really do. I think we need a full community, and I want to be there to be the forefront leader of it. Because I think we need a actual, genuine leader. Nobody really wants to be the leader. I think people are scared. I think they're very scared. But the nice thing about Jibrizy is fearless. And the crazy thing is they can never, ever cancel me. Ever. I had a guy actually talk to me. He said, dude, like you used to do these magic videos and you're so famous. Like, why are you doing these podcasts? Like, they're so controversial. Aren't you scared you're gonna make people mad? And I said, dude, like, you can't really make people mad. Like, I've been around so long, I can't make people mad. I'll gain more fans in the actions of making you mad. Then, as that was said, a woman had came up to me and said, "Oh my God, I seen you with my daughter before. My daughter wanted to say hi to you, but she just didn't. My son watches you. We've been fans of you for years." I said, "Oh, you know what? Let me ask this. Hey, what do you think about my podcast?" And the lady said, I watched one episode. I stopped it. I was like, she's like, I couldn't listen to it. My son loves listening to your podcast. My son loves listening to your podcast. You can't get mad at Jibrizy. It's just not gonna happen. You can't get mad at me. It's like getting mad at a family member. Like, deep down in people's hearts, I know they still like me. They can be mad at me, but I know they still like me. I can say the most reckless things, and I know they still love me. They love me deep in their hearts. You're not gonna stop loving Jibrizy. Hating Jibrizy is like hating yourself. You don't want to hate yourself. Like, come on, stop that. All right. King Turkey says, fire episode. This is definitely a fire episode. And I hope y'all got some gems out of this one because you guys asked for it. Sheldon, yeah. My first live episode. Looking forward to the next one. If I'm awake, I'm gonna try to do them while you guys are awake too. I'll try to do one tomorrow. I'll try to do one tomorrow. I kind of want to do a poll. I want to do a poll and see do you guys want these to be, daily, or do you want them to be, once a week? Daily is tough for me. Daily is tough. But if y'all want it, I can see what I can do. We can at least get to like at least maybe 4 episodes a week, maybe. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I go to Dubai though. Got to figure that out. So I think what I'm gonna do is probably gonna have this little chick I know, little tattooed chick, beautiful girl, beautiful girl, such a beautiful girl. Might have her film me and do some episodes down there while I'm in Dubai. Gotta go pick up my suits. All right, y'all. This is episode tres. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much. And have a beautiful day.